Okay, so the Canadians invited Zelensky to go to Canada. They went to the Canadian Parliament. Trudeau hosted a massive session with Zelensky, and they also managed to invite a national socialist, actual national socialist from the 1940s as a special guest. Now there's a backlash. It has not been an easy day or two for the Canadian Parliament and the authorities. Let's just say Trudeau and Zelensky did a bit of a whoopsie, apparently, because they had no idea, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and they regret this and they apologize. And some people are saying they were just testing the waters. They knew what they were doing. All right, what are we talking about in this video? So in Parliament, in the Canadian Parliament, there was this massive session. The Speaker of the House of Commons, Anthony Rota, decided to read out from his notes and introduced a special VIP guest in the audience, in the gallery, who was a veteran, a Ukrainian-Canadian veteran who fought against the Russians in the 1940s. And but just pay attention. I'm going to show you the video. Pay attention to Anthony Rota, the speaker. When he gets to the point where it says Russia 1940s, look at his face. I'm going to show it to you twice.
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian-Canadian world veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
Hang on. Just for a second. Go back to that.
Who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support.
His face. Oh no, you're so embarrassing. So his reaction was quite genuine. So I have a feeling his office either didn't know or didn't tell him the details. They probably just said, oh yeah, we just have a Ukrainian veteran, right? In gallery. Because his face was like, oh, oops. But surely people in charge knew. So this man, and I'm going to show you the details of this, was part of this division of SS. The idea was to fight back against the Soviets. And the Soviet at the time happened to be the allies of the West, so against the National Socialists. So it was a bit of a confusing situation, and whoever invited him, whoever organized this, has to answer some serious question. That's the man on the left-hand side. The Canadian Parliament apologizes after Trudeau and Zelensky accidentally honor a former National Socialist. Accidentally honor, and you can see Zelensky saying, hey, and you got Trudeau saying, yay, you got their wives and everybody all getting excited. But some people genuinely, I can tell, didn't know. Anthony Rota seems like he actually didn't know because the way he was reading. But the others, there's also more to this story. Just stay with me because I'm going to expose more about what the establishment and the media are saying and what actually probably happened. So, the speaker said, in my remarks following the address of the president of Ukraine, I recognized, also it's an American quote, I didn't type this, recognize an individual in the gallery. I have subsequently become aware of more information which causes me to regret my decision to do so. I particularly want to extend my deepest apologies to the Jewish communities in Canada and around the world. I accept full responsibility for my actions. Fair enough. They threw him under the bus, or he threw himself under the bus. But then there was this person who was also in the gallery, Jason Karinak, saying, I was in Parliament for Zelensky's speech when a supposed war hero was introduced. I stood up and applauded. I assumed he was a partisan who fought communist occupation after the Second World War. Now I've learned that he was a volunteer member of an SS unit. I feel sick to my stomach. On the one hand, I am sure it was a mistake by the Speaker's office. Lots of people wouldn't know enough history to be careful of such things. On the other hand, I am sure it was the responsibility of the Speaker's office to vet anyone to be honoured by Parliament. Again, everything has to go back to the Speaker's office, even if he personally didn't know. He says, I am particularly concerned with Putin's mischaracterization of Ukraine and its Jewish president, as a National Socialist state, this will create a lot of ammunition for further disinformation around the world. This is not just about Canada. Liberals often go after conservatives for posing in pictures with random people at events who turn out to be far-right probates. When that happens, what are we hoping that conservatives will do? What do they actually do? What should happen here where it is far worse? That's a good point. I'm not sure that anybody should lose their job over this if it was clear a mistake due to the short time for preparation. But I think it needs to go further than a simple apology. I'd like to know what procedure will be followed to ensure this does not happen again. He continues by saying, as a Jew, who was one of the people unknowingly applauding a Nazi soldier, so bad, I can hardly imagine a more embarrassing moment. Somebody had better take responsibility for it in a serious way. Everybody who was in the room needs to feel clean again. All right, got a little bit sexual. The speaker has now made it clear that he was responsible for inviting the individual to the house. So this is Karina Gould, who is the leader of Justin Trudeau's government in Parliament. So she says that the Prime Minister did not meet him, Mr. Hunker. And then we discovered something very interesting. Karina Gould, the person tweeting this, the leader on behalf of Justin Trudeau's government, is a little bit wrong. Let's just say why. Because Teresa Hunker, who is the granddaughter of the man, posted this on Facebook, that her grandfather is waiting in the reception hall for Trudeau and Zelensky. This was in Parliament on the same day. He was waiting to meet them. So it appears that the Prime Minister did in fact meet him, whereas Karina Gould said, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. No one met him. There was more chaos, by the way. The Ukrainian leadership have been going around a lot. They've also went to New York. And this was actually quite fascinating. They went to New York because of the United Nations, and the delegation from Ukraine decided to go out to local bars in New York to get drunk. That didn't end well. Guess what happened? So let's read this. This is from USA Today. A member of the Ukrainian delegation staged a massive fight in New York in a bar. This was on the 21st of September in the Campbell Bar. So what happened here? The bar is basically next to the UN's New York base. That's why everybody from the delegation goes there. The security officer of the Ukrainian delegation, which arrived in the United States with President Zelensky, required the bar visitors to shout "Glory to Ukraine." So anybody who was at the bar, shout "Glory to Ukraine." People refuse. Some people refuse. And the guy decided to attack the bartender who was trying to resolve the conflict. Witnesses claimed that the man was drunk and aggressive. And the whole thing escalated. Obviously, then some people actually were injured. And the police came, an ambulance came, and all because people didn't want to shout "Glory to Ukraine." I mean, this is just bad stuff. It's not a good look. It is definitely not a good look for the Ukrainian delegation. So they had issues in Canada with National Socialists. They got issues in New York with alcoholics. So has not been a good trip to the West. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I thought I'll share you guys with the actual facts of what we know, rather than what the corporate media are trying to spin, saying, oh, well, mistakes have been made and lessons will be learned. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.